What's up, guys? Kayak Mike here. We're going to have our virtual captains meeting now for the Owensboro event of the King Cat National Kayak Trail. Shout out sponsors Catfish Sumo, code OCT10 for 10% off of their gear. Shout out Raccoon Creek Outfitters. They are responsible for essentially half of every kayak that's been at every single one of our events so far. Shout out to Legal Electric sponsoring our awards this year. Our awards are absolutely phenomenal. And shout out to King Cat for bringing me on their team and having me part of their family for this year. And big things to come the rest of this year, even bigger things to come next year. So, first things first, King Cat's having their convention at the Owensboro Convention Center on Friday, Saturday. The boat tournament's Friday, Saturday. The kayak tournament is Sunday. The convention goes on, I believe, from 8 or 9 a.m. till about 3:30 p.m. Friday and Saturday. If you need to find me Friday, Saturday, that's where I will be. I will be working the convention. My kayak will be on display if you want to come up and talk. Come on up and talk. It'll be a great time. Now, as far as the kayak check-in, that's going to be Saturday night after day two weigh-ins of the King Cat Boat Tournament. I believe their weigh-ins are going to be right around here. So our check-in is going to be wherever the stage is. Find the stage. That's where our check-in is going to be, and our check-in is going to start right when the boat tournament weigh-ins end. So it might be a little bit before, it might be a little bit after 8 p.m., but it's going to be right here, and I'm going to run it through 8 p.m. like we always do, and that'll be this Saturday night. Also, remember, we are on Central Standard Time at this tournament. We are not on Eastern Standard Time at this tournament, so keep that in mind. That does play a factor in these events. Um, we'll do our normal board check. I'll check your board, your bump for 90 degrees. I'll check the length. I'll sticker up your board. I'll mark your board. You'll get your identifier. Your identifier will be one of the sponsors here. You'll get your chip. You know what to do with the chip. If you want to leave early, there will be a bin at the checkout location where you can drop your chip off to leave early. So, back to here. Back to the tournament. Let's go over some tournament details, boundaries, etc. So, what I did was when I was making these tournament boundaries, I had to make sure I included the Green River just in case we had bad conditions. Now, we're going to have phenomenal conditions. We're going to have arguably some of the best conditions the Ohio River has to offer when it comes to fishing. So if you see this website right here, May 3rd, the velocity is going to be anywhere between 1 and 2 miles an hour come Friday. So it'll be slightly less come tournament day. Those conditions are pretty great. And the river's not on a hard fall, it's on a gradual fall. So the mixture of decent current and not a hard falling river, I really think we're going to have the best fishing conditions the Ohio River typically has to offer anytime, any time of the year. On top of the weather supposed to being nice as well. I made sure the boundaries include the Green River. As long as you're navigable from the Ohio River, everywhere on the Green River is fishable. The Green River is typically slightly slower than the main channel. If you can see here, main channel at Evansville is 1.5 miles an hour. Green River by Friday is supposed to be at 1.4. So yeah, like the Green River today is essentially non-existent on current. So you know what I mean? It's at point 0.5. So yeah, we're gonna have great conditions. The Green River is in play. Like I said earlier, I was worried about if the Ohio River is blown out, where the angler's gonna fish. Green River would have been our option, but we don't even have to worry about that. So now let's go over to our boundaries. Our boundaries are. Let's go to the eastern boundary first. Eastern boundary, Cannleton Dam. You cannot fish any further east than Cannleton Dam. You are responsible for knowing where you can and cannot fish in here. If you plan on running up into the dam Sunday and bumping, doing whatever you want up in this dam, perfectly fine. Don't care. But if you get a ticket because you're fishing out of bounds, that's on you. You as the angler need to figure out what you can and cannot fish at this dam. So this is our eastern boundary. Our western boundary is the Twin Bridges right here below Evansville. So, how you notice the Twin Bridges? The Green River mouth is right here. It's the first set of bridges right here. And it's the first bridge. If your GPS point is under the bridge, you are out of bounds. This first bridge, that is the western boundary. The Green River, it is all in play as long as it's navigable from the main channel. I have had a lot of questions. Oop, wrong one. I have had a lot of questions about locking through. I called them. They open up this weekend. They open up at 7 a.m. So you can lock through starting at 7 if you want. This is the phone number to the first lock. I got the phone number to the first lock and put it here. If you plan on going past the second lock, I didn't even look into it. You're gonna be responsible for getting that number if you want to lock through the second lock. Perfectly fine. You can launch above the first lock if you want to. You can launch above the second lock if you want to. Don't care. Why don't I care? Because it's technically navigable from the main channel. So I don't care if you start below or above the lock. It does not matter to me. Um, because if we were in a situation where we had to fish the Green River, like there was a chance if the river was bad, if the Ohio River was bad, every single kayak would be on the Green River. So it's essentially an Ohio River / Green River tournament. Fish either one, don't care. The most important thing is on tournament day. Let me scroll out here a little bit. I will pull in both our boundaries. So let me go down. So here is our western boundary, the Twin Bridges. Here's our eastern boundary. Oh, you guys can't see it. I'm sorry. Here's our right here. That's our eastern boundary, Candleton Dam. And then the Green River, let me turn it on this one. This is the Green River right here. It goes all the way down, and then it starts going essentially away from Owensboro. You guys are responsible come tournament day. You have to be within eyesight of me in here by 4 p.m. Lines out are 3 p.m. on tournament day on Sunday. Lines in are 7 a.m. And you have to be back at the checkout location by 4 p.m. If you are on the water, so let's say you launched, if there's a couple launches around here, you have to be within eyesight of me on the water, upstream of the English Park boat ramp or downstream of Glover Carey Bridge. So I will be standing in this general area. I will be walking around looking for kayaks parked. You know, if you're in one of these parking lots and I can see you from wherever I'm standing, you're good to go. If you are on the water, I need to be able to see you from the convention center between 3 and 4 p.m. and you have to be upstream of English Park boat ramp and you have to be downstream of Glover Carey Bridge by 4 p.m. So that's what you have to do as far as checking out is concerned. Um, yeah, those were the biggest concerns were the boundaries. So remember, entire Green River's in play. If you can get back to the checkout by 4 p.m., I don't care where you launch on the Green River, essentially, as long as it's navigable from the Ohio River. The whole thing is essentially navigable. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to fishable areas, you can lock through if you want. You don't have to lock through. You can launch anywhere you want. Doesn't matter to me. You go from the Twin Bridges in Evansville all the way upstream to Canada Dam. There is one more dam in there, and just remember, this isn't a boundary. This is within boundaries. This is right in the middle. Newburgh Locks and Dam, right here. This is inbounds, so you can fish here if you want. That's essentially it's closer to Evansville, but that's the dam right there. So normally I do go dam to dam, but again, in case the Ohio River, it's May. In case the Ohio River was blown out, I had to find a way to include the Green River, which is why this is our western boundary. Um, and I don't think there's anything else special. For guys who have fished these events, it's pretty cookie cutter. You know the boundaries. Lines in at 7 a.m. Tournament day of. Lines out 3 p.m. You can submit pictures until 4 p.m. and you have to be back at the checkout location by 4 p.m. We unfortunately did have to DQ some people last event. They got stuck in traffic and they did not make it back to the checkout in time. So that is a full disqualification. All your fish get disqualified, and instead of getting 80 some points, you get dinged down to 50 points. So if you're only going to make 5 events, that's a big deal, because your best 5 events goes towards your score at the end of the season for the $5,000 point race. And going down from the 90s or 80s down to 50, that's crushing. So just make sure you make it back to checkout. If you want to leave early, let's say you have a decent score, or let's say you only have a couple fish and you're just not enjoying yourself. You want to leave early for whatever reason. There will be a bin here, like we always do at all the tournaments, and all you gotta do is just drop off your chip at the bin. If for whatever reason you can't find the bin, just take a video of yourself at the convention center, send it to me on Facebook Messenger with a timestamp, and then I know for a fact from that timestamp on, none of your fish count. So that's how we're gonna do that. And yeah, I'm going down tomorrow right after work. That'll be Wednesday. I will be launching here at English Park Boat Ramp. If anybody wants to join me, I'll be trying to fish in this general area because my goal is to get the convention center in the background of some fishing. I don't know if the fishing is going to be worth anything, but that's what I'm going to try and do. Any more questions? Hit me up on Facebook. Y'all know where to find me. Last but not least, let's see here. Let's see something here. Scroll up. I can't scroll down. Channels. Right side down, left side up. Make sure you have your identifiers in the picture. Flatheads. They can be measured on their belly. Make sure they're bumped. Furthest part touching the board is what get measured. Have your identifiers in the picture. Blues. Right side down, left side up. Bumped. Whole fish in the picture. You get scored here. Make sure your identifiers in the picture. Make sure your identifiers in the picture. Make sure you have the correct orientation. Channels and plues cannot be measured on their bellies. And I will try and, if I remember, I will link this in the description. The velocity over here, that is the miles per hour at each respective dam. This is an extreme help when you're trying to fish the Ohio River. And yeah, Kayak Mike out of here.